Moss, if you could put back up the slide deck, and we'll close up for today. I think we've had a great session here. Oh, let's give a hand to our speakers for one. I forgot all about that. Let's give a good hand to our speakers. Thank you. Moss, if you can still see me, I'm putting up my fingers here.
I can see you.
Okay, so let's thank our speakers, and don't forget that PNSQC is a community, and so if you want to reach out to a speaker and tell them they did a great job, please do so and connect with them. So that's what we're all here for, is to network and meet new folks. And one of the things I was really glad about today was I did see, as Rachel said, she was happy to see some familiar faces. And I was too. I was especially happy to see non-familiar faces as well. And so, I don't know if anybody remembers this. This is actually from an ad slogan from 1994 with Microsoft, when they talked about, where do you want to go today? And one of the things about, so today I'd like you to think about, what do you want to learn today, right? And so that's what PNSQC is all about, is really providing a learning platform, I think, for us to learn, not only you as speakers and as us as individual presenters and speakers, but for PNSQC also to learn. And so we're looking to get feedback from you as to what kind of content that you'd like to hear about, as well as how you'd like the content to be delivered. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, formal papers or blogs or webinars. We're in a new era now. So I invite all of you to think creatively about the way that you learn the best, for us to be able to curate that content and provide it to you in the best way for you to learn. And one of the things that was brought up earlier in Rachel's presentation was comfort zone. And then Shiva talked about how he was his first time talking. And I thought it was really interesting. I was listening to a blog a few days ago, and it talked about the ego and comfort zone, and why is it that we want to stay in our comfort zone. And the reason that we want to stay in our comfort zone is because of fear. And the fear is fear of failure, fear of looking stupid, fear of people making fun of us. And it talked about, actually, the guy was talking about exercises that we can do in our daily lives to build up that callus and to build up that ability to conquer our fears. And he talked about, well, just go into Starbucks and try to get a discount on a cup of coffee, or go into Starbucks and lay on the floor for 10 seconds. And what you realize is that, people don't really care. And it's your ego that's standing in the way of you reaching out and doing new things. You're tired of being looking stupid and so on. And so, I got this pink hat here, and I decided I was going to wear this pink hat, not only to support the Me Too movement, but to realize that, if somebody makes fun of me for my pink hat, it just doesn't matter, right? And so think of PNSQC as your learning platform. Please provide us feedback on what we can do to improve. And that brings up a next subject that I'd like to talk about, is that, the wealth gap. And it's something that has come up a lot in our conversations today in society, and especially in the United States. And one of the things that we don't realize about the wealth gap is that it's not necessarily about the racial divide. Some of it is, but a lot of it is about the technology divide. And what we don't realize is that technology is really what's separating us. And if you think about it, technology leverages our capabilities and multiplies our capabilities in productivity. So just to give a really small example, can you imagine a writer that had to write everything by hand versus somebody that can use Microsoft Word? Can you imagine, can you think about the enhanced productivity, not only in quality, but in the ability to produce more work in using Microsoft Word versus writing something out by hand? And, for some of you that don't know me, during the pandemic, I was able to ride my bike 220 days in a row in San Francisco, and I met lots of folks in my riding, and a lot of new friends. And because I live in San Francisco, a lot of the folks that I ride with are minorities, a lot of Mexicans actually. And we found out about this bicycle club that we could join and pay $20 and get free insurance as part of the membership. And one of my buddies that wanted to join, he didn't have a computer, and so he came over to my house, and so I had to help him fill out the form online. And then there was the payment issue, and he didn't have PayPal account, and I had to pay via PayPal with my account, and then he wanted to give me cash. And so when I thought about that, I was like, wow, it's not really just the wealth gap. A lot of it is created by technology. And we're really lucky to be here, to be part of this community, to be able to attend conferences like this, to have a computer where we can use Zoom, and we just take it all for granted. And so, I really from there, I want to talk about our diversity scholarships. Last year in 2020 was the first year that we had diversity scholarships. And I want to have a special call out to those organizations that we worked with as partners to provide scholarships for those to attend our conference that normally wouldn't be able to attend, to be part of the technology community, to be able to get that leverage and go from the have-nots to the haves and help us to close the wealth gap. So thank you for our sponsors there. And so, if you want to get involved in our community in PNSQC, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can contribute a blog, you can help us to review papers, help us to organize events, even work on AdWords to increase our international reach. Or if you want to be the program chair and take over my role, I'm certainly open to that, because I asked Moss, you want to be program chair? But he didn't stand up. But and supporting us on social media would also be great. And now for closing off the conference for the day today. Today is really the first day that we're opening the call for papers for 2021 for our conference in October. And we hope that some of you that presented today will submit a abstract through our open conference link. You can see the link up there. The deadline is April 15th. There are 3 types of submissions. One of them is a normal technical paper, which may range anywhere between, say, 1,000 words and 2,000 words. And then there's something that we call technical brief, which is a paper that's, maybe you've worked on something and you think it has some great value to folks, but it's not really proven out yet, or you're trying something, or you tried a new tool, something like that. And that would be a brief with just a couple pages long. And then a poster paper. And normally poster papers in a live conference, we would have you standing up there with a poster board and just explaining something. But we're going to be morphing the poster papers over to electronic form. So you'll get a chance to talk about your idea for 5 or 10 minutes in an open forum in our virtual conference. We have not yet decided for sure if we're going to have a hybrid conference, which would be the virtual plus live, but we're going to be deciding that sometime in May or June. But at least we're still going to be having what we did last year, which is the virtual with papers and so on. And that's one of the things that distinguishes PNSQC from other conferences, which, as you know, held in places like Orlando, Florida, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, those types of conferences. Ours is held in Portland, Oregon. But one of the distinguishing factors is that we have technical papers, which makes our conference, I think, a bit special in terms of the depth of the content. So we welcome you to submit papers for our conference. The call is open now. One last thing is that the slides for today are going to be available online, and we really want to thank you for attending, as well as our speakers for being here. I can't see the really gift, but everybody is standing up and clapping and having a good time now, I hope. I know it's time for happy hour. You know, if you guys want to hang out and get to know each other a bit and chat, that would be great. But I have to actually get to work. I'll get fired. So thank you for coming, everyone, and being part of our community, old timers as well as new timers. And so maybe we can change over to the regular meeting format, Moss, now, and everybody can see each other, and, you know, feel free to chat. And if you want to make fun of my pink hat, go ahead. It's okay. Doesn't bother me.
Peter had a question, I think.
Okay, great.
I'd like to have two people who work for me who've become very interested in QA present. But what I'd like to do is maybe you could tell me who I should talk to describe our situation, what we're up to. And then there's several things we could talk about in that presentation. Who could I talk to kind of bounce ideas about what we might present in our, we're unusual in that we're inside of a prison, the state prison for women. And we have a software, coding with conviction, things like that going on. And there's two gals, it's a women's prison, who have just become really interested in QA. And I'd like to put them together with somebody and say, look, here's all the ideas bouncing around on their head. What should they present about?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, if you want to, do they have access to a computer and Zoom? And maybe we could have a short phone call or meeting and talk about it, and we can.
Yes, we call that shoulder surfing, because I have to initiate the connection and kind of monitor it. But except for that, they can do all the talking.
Okay, well, why don't you just write to me, you know, philip.liu@pnsqc.org or program@pnsqc.org, and we'll set something up, and one of our volunteers or myself will have a call and help you to discern out some great topics.
Okay, so that's philip.liu@pnsq.com or .org.
That's pnsqc.org, right?
That's just what I'll do. Thank you.
I don't see anybody lifting up their beer. It's already 5:30. Oh, okay, Moss has his. Okay.
I gotta take my kids to classes. I gotta drive, so I gotta be responsible.
Great, nice to have you here, so Shiva. Anybody else? So Melissa, I see you're here. I don't see your picture though. You're not showing us your. Robin is Diane. Diane, you're from you came all the way from Georgia. Thank you for traveling all this way.
Yes. Thanks, Phil. Enjoyed it.
And so what recommendations? I know that you've been in QA for a long time, Diane, and you go to a lot of conferences as well. I'm wondering what you think about how PNSQC could better serve the community, and any things that any ideas that you may have.
I don't have anything right off the top of my head, but be happy, you know, for us to get together and do some brainstorming and talk about what we're doing here for Atlanta Quality Assurance. And I think you were part of our conference we had in October.
Yeah, that's right.
In
That's
Atlanta?
right. And you guys had a 5-day conference, which I thought, wow, that's a lot. That's a long
Right.
conference. And what
We're
did you
planning it
find over
again
the
for
5
this
days?
coming year too.
Are you going to have another 5-day conference this year as well?
Was it a virtual
We
conference?
are going to have another conference. Yeah, we'll figure out the length, you know, so we need to be sharing information with the group so that, you know, now that everything's virtual, it works well to attend, you know, easily from either coast.
Yeah, yeah. I know you had it from like 5 days for 4 hours a day or something like that. And I thought it was a very, very interesting
Right.
format. Yeah, yeah. So Robin, what are you doing over there? Is it cold where you're at?
It's supposed to be the coldest in 3 years tomorrow. So
Wow, so much for global warming. Global warming, we need you back. Please come back.
well,
Yeah,
on the other hand, the beaches of Nevada.
yeah. Brian, did you gonna say something?
Oh, just laughing at the beaches.
Yeah. Well, sir, it's been a great event. And thank you everyone for attending. And I guess we'll wrap up here and go have a real beer. And if you see me on the street with my pink hat, please make fun of me, and then I'll just say it doesn't matter. So thanks
Hey, one more
everyone.
thing. I want to thank you, Phil and Moss and the crew for putting this on. So as I saw in the chat, the energy is just as electric, just as vibrant as it's always been. It's like the tone, it's like the caliber of PNSQC that can be measured. And yet again, there's the bar. So thanks for you guys putting this on. Really great content, really great participation. You guys are all rock stars, and the participants as well, and the speakers. So thank you so much for just so much energy kicking off what we have to look forward to this year.
Thank you, and everyone have a nice weekend.
See ya.
Have fun. Enjoy the eve, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Good night.